Afternoon, back on the Warco lathe 180. I fitted a DRO a couple of weeks ago. The reader, the only way I could fit it was on the front of the cross slide, which I was a bit peed off about. There again, what else can you do? What I found was when I fitted this guard, it didn't protect the actual reader itself. The gap in between there, I was getting lots of swarf gathering, and though in the instructions it says do not get oil, swarf, dirt on the reader glass. So what I came up with is, I did make a cover before, but it was far too big, so I've made this a little bit smaller. As you can see, the difference in the size, it's about half an inch bigger than the original. This covers the actual groove there, which is probably nearly as deep as the tip of my finger, and all that is protected now. Yeah, when I bought the DRO, I probably bought the most brilliantly expensive one, because they hadn't got the other ones in stock. Every time you went on there, they got them in stock. I didn't want to get one from China because they've got no comeback. All they want to do is give you half your money back. And anyway, I didn't want to go through that rigmarole. So I bought one from a British company. Any problems, just send it back or give them a ring. And that's why I bought the more expensive one. Going back to the DRO monitor itself, what I did find out was I didn't realise that they were set to a milling machine. Well, I've got a lathe, and I didn't realise when I was cutting my bit of metal, so I wanted to take a millimetre off there. I was actually taking 2 millimetres off, because I was taking 1 mil there and 1 mil there, and it was making 2 mil. So all I want to do, I'm going to go to the monitor and show you where you should look for where it says lathe. When it comes out of the factory, it's set at for a milling machine. You can have it on a grinder, a miller, a lathe. I think there's something else. But when I turn this on, you'll see where it comes up lathe. This says 2L, that's lathe. Now when you're cutting 1 millimetre off, it should show 0.500. That's the equivalent to 1 millimetre cut. Now what I was doing, I was taking 1 millimetre off and realising it was down to 2 millimetres, which ruined one of my jobs that I was working on. As soon as you see this little logo up there, or little emblem up there, that means that you are in the correct mode. So you want to take a mill off, you take a mill off. It's really really difficult to understand when you're not used to lathes and that, which I'm a beginner. Anyway, I was absolutely over the moon. I will demonstrate by me taking 1 mil off from the wheel, and you'll see what actually happens. Once I take it back a mil, that's it. I've actually taken it back 1 mil. I hope that sounds right. Anyway, I made some additions to the lathe because I put the cross slide reader on the front. I couldn't mount my milling post, So I'll just show you what I've actually done to mount the milling post. To mount the milling post back onto the cross slide, what I've had to do is drill 2 more holes. That's the backing plate for the reader, that's holding the reader down. So what I've done, I've used one of the brackets that they send with the DRO reader. I've mounted the mill onto this bracket, so I can actually slide that up, just drop my bolts in, just drop the bolts in there, bolt it up, and it works a treat. One new addition to the shed is a little tappy hammer I made. I call it a tappy hammer. I was quite pleased with that. Nice bit of brass, nice bit of mild steel, turned all that okay. Yeah, it's great for just tapping your work up, make sure it's all lined up. I don't want to get something too big out, but I thought that's just a handy little size, that one. Yeah, very pleased with that. Just some scrap I had knocking about. You can see I've been using it. I've actually damaged it, but I can always smooth that off. Yeah, so I hope that has been helpful to some people, especially with the DRO, because now I've worked that out. It's a lot better when I'm doing my cutting. Obviously, I don't take a mill off. I take a mill off. I don't take 2 off, which has been really helpful. Other than that, I'll bid you farewell. Yeah, another day in the shed, and I bid you all farewell. Bye bye, bye bye.